After 21 years of flying Mach 2 with my hair on fire, I finally let go, and now I just fly this tube of shame, which is why it was so special to get an early screening of this amazing movie 3 days before it opens. I'll be honest, I was skeptical and was worried I'd be scoffing all the inaccuracies for all 2 hours and 11 minutes. Now don't get me wrong, of course there are some, but they are way overshadowed by the flying scenes, and honestly they nailed a lot of the small details. Warning, this video has spoilers. If you want to see the spoiler-free version, click over here quickly.
Great seats. IMAX.
Really, Air Force? An ad at the beginning of Top Gun? That's just embarrassing. Hey, it's Freak. Welcome back to Clear Direct. This movie blew my mind. For all of Tom Cruise's quirks, his love for aviation is second only to mine, and it shows. He obsessed over every detail of the flying scenes and even got his co-stars flying lessons before putting them in the back seat of a Super Hornet. In fact, Hangman and Payback went on to get their private pilot's licenses. But back to the Rhino. I am so glad they featured the Super Hornet as opposed to the F-35. Now, I'm not an F-35 hater. Okay, yeah, I am. Over budget, under delivers, that's a topic for another video. But they went with the F-18F because it's the family model, right? But Tom Cruise actually tried to convince the DoD to give him his type rating in the Hornet and the F-18E, and smartly they said no. This instant classic used limited CGI and relied heavily on live action aerial shots, thank goodness. Now, the production team, including aerial cinematographer Kevin LaRosa, did an Oscar-worthy job putting us right in the cockpit with the actors. The G's were real and it shows. Not even freak of nature Tom Cruise could keep his eyebrows from drooping under the strain. I was wondering if the movie would take place at the actual Top Gun at Fallon Naval Air Station near Reno, where I've fought many young Top Gun students and some instructors in my F-15. But smartly, they opted to do the bulk of the filming at the picturesque North Island in San Diego. Plus, it's just down the beach from Oceanside and Miramar, where the 1986 version took place. There are some great desert, mountain, and blue water ocean scenes too, of course. The movie opens with an updated carrier scene and that same great soundtrack that immediately gets your goosebumps raised. Then they quickly transition to Maverick working on Tom Cruise's P-51 in his house hangar, presumably at China Lake. Now he's there as a test pilot working on a Skunk Works project, shamelessly branded by Lockheed Martin on the control stick of a pretty sweet hypersonic combo turbojet scramjet, where his next test point is to achieve Mach 9. It's pretty funny that Lockmark got their branding in a movie that heavily features the Boeing F-18. Now, Maverick quickly finds out that Ed Harris's drone-loving character is scrapping the project for failure to reach Mach 10. Well, of course, Maverick suits up, breathes some O2, nice touch, and pushes the plane to Mach 10, where then it quickly breaks up in flight. We quickly learn that our hero safely ejected and strolls into a Grizzly Adams bar where I'm pretty sure they invented Jeremiah weed. This was clearly a great input by a real fighter pilot film advisor. Well done, sir. And since the prototype plane is no more, they send Maverick to teach a hand-selected patch-wearing group of Top Gun grads for a special mission. Now, they do a pretty good job of overselling the cockiness of these young fighter pilots.
Everyone here is the best there is. Who the hell are they going to get to teach us?
Mitchell.
There's a healthy dose of Nav, Rio, Wizzo hating that is actually really funny. Don't worry, R2, you'll get your vengeance later on in the film. All right, now the younger generation of actors, it's kind of funny. They portray them pretty well. I don't know. I think kind of in a boomer's mindset, they're taking selfies and joking around and whatnot. But the actors do a pretty good job of dealing with that. They start their training and they immediately do some BFM and dogfighting, which is amazing. And then the mission gets pushed up, so they quickly have to transition into low-level training where they're just flying through these canyons, which is great because they feel the need for speed, right? And it shows the speed really, really well. I'm sure they sped up some of the sequences, but again, showing the G's and the sweat pouring down, that was just like really well done and very accurate. Like, you have seen some harsh criticism for the team not bringing back Meg Ryan and Kelly McGillis. Instead, they bring in Penny Benjamin, played by the now 51-year-old Jennifer Connelly, who is objectively a smoke show. You may not remember, but in the first one, Penny was the general's daughter who Mav got in trouble for doing a flyby for, as told by Meg Ryan's character, Carol Bradshaw, who's now dead. Ouch, Meg. Why you gotta hate her like that? But before Goose's widow died, she made Mav pull her son Rooster's application from the Naval Academy so he couldn't die in an airplane. This doesn't sit well, of course, with young Rooster and set his career back 4 years. I'm not sure how this makes sense if he just went through ROTC or OCS, but okay. Question for all you Navy pilots. Are all ready rooms saunas? Tomahawk missiles in the movie fly a little faster than in real life. That's okay. They use flares as countermeasures because they look cool, and so that's why they were used to decoy all sorts of radar-guided SAMs and air-to-air missiles. But now, reportedly, China funded 10% of this movie, so clearly they couldn't use Chinese fighters or have that be the mission. And they also had to change some patches on Maverick's leather jacket to appease them. But they're training for a dangerous mission to prevent IOC of a heavily guarded uranium enrichment plant in Country X in the mountains. It's GPS denied and heavy SAMs. So the only option is to ingress low in the valley below the mez and really fast before the 5th gen fighters on patrol can react. They'll also send some Tomahawk missiles to destroy the nearby airfield so they can't launch more DCA. Now, obviously there are a few different and much lower risk ways to skin this cat, but okay, let's just hit the I believe button. Now, after we've accepted this, I do like how they have to laze their GBU, I think 16s, in, but for some reason they can't self-laze because, of course, the second section of Hornets have a sick pod. You had one job, Wizzo, so they have to drop dumb. But of course, they're the best of the best, and they make this miracle happen. They then have to pull a sustained 9 to 10 G pull to make it out of the crater. They do a nice job explaining that this is well beyond the limits of the 7.3 G airframe and will most likely bend metal. I can attest to this as a student of mine pulled 12.3 Gs to save his life after waking up from a G-lock, and that mighty Eagle jet sacrificed its life to save his. He flew again, but the jet didn't. Back to the movie. My biggest problem with the tactical plan is that there really is no good egress plan opening them up to certain SAM mayhem. They don't even try to use a growler to jam or take any preemptive harm shots or pet shots, but that's right. In the movie, all the SA-3s are IR guided because, well, flares just look way better on screen than ECM or chaff. Now, tactically accurate for this scenario, they do lose a Hornet as Mav gets shot down, and right before he gets blown away on the ground by a pretty badass enemy helicopter, Rooster comes in and saves the day by disobeying an RTB order and puts his ass on the line to save Mav, getting himself also shot down in the process. There's a great comedic moment as the two reunite as survivors, but then I got pretty worried that this was turning into a behind enemy lines or worse, Iron Eagle. But it doesn't last that long. They steal a Relic F-14, use a huffer to get it cranked, take off from a cratered taxiway and have to fight their way out with Mav doing all that pilot shit and Rooster in the trunk saying, "Talk to me, Dad." Again, I am not poo-pooing the inaccuracies. They're way overshadowed by the cinematography and the pretty decent storyline. There are a lot of flashbacks to the original film, which was fantastic and does the original classic justice. Again, the fact that Cruise is aviation obsessed is evident and even features some scenes of him flying his own P-51. So we're treated to that plus 3rd gen Tomcat, 4.5 gen Super Hornet Rhino, and some really good CGI, I assume, of the 5th gen Su-57. All right, get ready, Navy recruiters. You're gonna have a surge. Congrats to Paramount, Tom Cruise, Kevin LaRosa, and the US Navy and current fighter pilots. You are lit once again. Let me know if you think they should make a Top Gun 3 before, 2058. Until next time, you're cleared to ramp.